U.S. President Donald Trump and Russian leader Vladimir Putin spoke over the phone on Thursday. The conversation centered on the ongoing war in Ukraine, with President Trump calling for a rapid end to that conflict. A Kremlin official told the press that Putin stressed that the Russian military would continue its ongoing operations in Ukraine. Russian forces occupy approximately 20% of Ukraine's territory, with most of it captured since the launch of a full-scale invasion in 2022. Almost immediately following the phone call between the two leaders, Russia launched another barrage of drone attacks on the Ukrainian capital of Kyiv, suggesting that Moscow does not intend to end the war anytime soon. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky, meanwhile, told reporters in Denmark that he hopes to speak to Trump as soon as Friday about the Pentagon's recent decision to pause shipments of air defense systems and artillery shells that were slated to be transported to Ukraine. Pentagon officials were concerned that the U.S. military stockpile of these weapons was running dangerously low and could be needed in case of an unexpected conflict on other fronts. The Russian army has launched its summer offensive in Ukraine and has been launching frequent waves of missile strikes on Ukrainian centers of population. Ukraine faces a Russian summer offensive and frequent attacks on a number of civilian targets. Though outnumbered, Ukrainian forces have been able to strike deep into Russian territory. Earlier in the week, a Ukrainian missile strike in the Russian Kursk region managed to eliminate Major General Michael Gudkov, the Russian Navy's deputy commander. And a number of Ukrainian drone strikes have managed to destroy Russian fighter bombers parked in air bases hundreds of kilometers away from the Ukrainian border. But concerns are growing that Russian forces, with their persistent pressure, could manage to break through Ukrainian lines in the eastern part of the country. Ukrainian officials are hoping that they can convince the White House to continue American shipments of weapons in order to help Ukrainian forces to counter Russian strikes and to blunt the Kremlin's summer offensive. President Trump also told reporters late on Thursday that he, quote, is not happy about the war in Ukraine. And he stressed that his discussion with Vladimir Putin did not make any progress about the war. The president also said that the U.S. has not paused weapon supplies to Ukraine, but, quote, in his words, we have to make sure that we have enough for ourselves. Thus far, there seems to be no end in sight for the war in Ukraine, as the casualties on both the Russian and Ukrainian sides continue to mount. Oubai Shahbandar for AnewZ, Washington, D.C.